Hello and welcome, I'm Dante from Low Manor and welcome to the initial episode of This Week in Anthem. Here I'll be running through all the news, updates, interviews and community spotlights that you should be checking out each week. So let's jump into the news, as it's been a big week for Anthem. So unless you've been living under a rock, you will have heard about the release of a 19-minute demo for Anthem. This is the extended cut of what was shown at E3, unless you were lucky enough to go along to EA Play to either view or play the demo for yourself. As you can imagine, we've got a lot of new things, from tidbits of lore, enemy varieties, javelin abilities, along with far better look at the giant spider boss. So far, I've overviewed what we've learnt about the lore and UI in a video already, with a breakdown of abilities, interactions and enemies coming in the next few days. The key things to take away are that the gameplay looks solid, far better than we'd seen before. The scale of the map has a uniquely vertical feel. The scale at which you can continue to change altitude, from a relatively high up at the start to far depths in the hive. At no point do you see them fly up, even after dropping hundreds of meters each time. This kind of scale has not been seen before in any shared world game, and certainly not in this fidelity. On top of this, we also get our first Anthem stream from Mark and John, doing a live AMA while also talking about the gameplay footage that came out. One of the community members, Ukumio, uploaded the full VOD, which you can check out in the description below. A lot was covered, much of what we've heard before, but there are still a few things as always. I've got a key few details that I found interesting, even if they were partial explanations. Around crafting in the endgame, it's going to be several weeks until we actually know what this is going to become and how it all works, but they did confirm that a significant part of harvesting resources to craft will be conducted within free flight mode. This is something that can easily be played solo, even if some areas will be more difficult as a result. We will also be gaining these resources by interacting with certain nodes, which is exactly what you get in most MMOs. To me, this is mining for ore, minerals, harvesting materials, or fitting the plot, salvaging materials from wrecks and ruins. They clarified that there will be no harvesting from animals in the wild, but drops from bosses may include crafting rewards. From the gameplay footage, we also get to see one of the nodes as a lore item. Discovering these will sometimes give a resource, crafting, or item rewards. In addition to updating the in-game lore journal that we can go back and read to learn more about Anthem's world and its rich history. We do get our first glance at the map, which is pretty significant as I've already said. In addition to this, they confirmed that there will be a total of 10 major regions, which means we potentially saw most of the map, although obviously we have no idea how deep, high or intertwined it all really is. John has even been consistent in encouraging us to think of the space in terms of a volume, and 3 dimensions, not a flat plane. Will there be guilds? Certainly, but exactly how they are structured, with benefits and listings, is still to be locked down. They are also working on how large they can manage them. I would like a guild space of some kind in Fort Tarsis, but we won't be seeing other players in this story aspect. However, Mark has mentioned previously that there will be versions of your own home that might have customization. Being able to link your guilds, emblems and achievements would be pretty great, even if it's just for you to see. They confirm that there will be merchants, not a huge surprise, but for the most part they will sell basic goods, generic items for crafting and some consumables. Along these lines, we have confirmed that there will be 2 currencies within the game. One is earned solely from playing, as a reward for missions, discoveries and generally playing parts of the game. The other is a premium currency, that you can purchase to buy cosmetics. How you earn the premium currency and how often is still unknown. Fast travel does exist and is actually the primary use of your Strider outside of story hooks. You will unlock these by discovering new locations via the story and exploration, a bit like finding a flight point in most other online games. You can then pick where you want to spawn for free roaming, but some missions may start in specific locations due to the narrative ease of the mission. We also had some clarification on what else you can do with them. You can not only use them to launch your missions, but as stop-off points, to resupply, which I assume applies mostly to consumables, and to access the forge, to change loadouts, update skins, equip new weapons and abilities. You can even save preset loadouts. The amount of slots you have is yet to be locked down, but it will be a minimum of 2 per javelin. And as a side note, it's been confirmed that you won't actually be able to pilot the Strider yourself. Unfortunately, that responsibility falls to Haluk only. We got clarification that we can go back and replay previous missions, potentially at different difficulties, but interestingly enough, there'll be another late game mechanism tied to them, or other missions. There will be leaderboards, While vague in their answer, they did give the impression that there will be both scoring and timing for certain missions. To me, this seems like their version of competition between players and guilds rather than PvP, which gives me the impression that score and time attacks for completing endgame activities is likely to be a thing. I would like to see these set into some form of seasons, a bit like what you see with Diablo, but not as clean cut. I don't think everyone wants to have their gear reset every few months. That said, it adds a huge amount of replayability to other looters. So if they do it right, this could be incredibly compelling, and as far as I'm aware, the first shooter of its kind to attempt the model. Would be a great reason for them to be so hush about their endgame. Well, besides not being ironed out yet. When it comes to the loot, we had clarification we would have misloot mailed to us, as long as it's above common quality. I clarified the current rarities of loot to be common, uncommon, rare, very rare, epic, legendary, and ancient. Although the names are subject to change. These items will have random rolls, and can't be upgraded to bring them up to current levels. Essentially the traditional looter mechanics here. However, the top rarities, legendary and ancient, will have unique effects that other versions of those items don't have, such as one of the weapons in the gameplay that actually ricochets from target to target. So we should have some interesting modifications outside of just elements. So I think that's enough for Q&As for now. Each week I'll round up all of the questions I've answered on both Reddit and Twitter, as they are very active. So outside of BioWare themselves and their consistent feedback, the community is growing, and along with it we are getting some great content, content creators, artists and generally good members willing to help out others. So I want to highlight these people and show you the incredible work they put out, starting off with some amazing art. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you go check out Lazar's Digital Art on Twitter. Show them some love and give them a follow. Their range of posters is truly phenomenal, and I can't wait to see what new pieces they put out. The second members I want to highlight are Ogaz and Binary Numb, who run Anthem Universe. These guys are everywhere when it comes to Anthem. If you want a friendly Anthem-centric community to come out with, you can come and hang out on their Discord. They also produce a podcast that airs once a week, talking everything Anthem. They even take community suggestions and feedback. You can find links to everything from these great community members in the description below. So that's it for this first episode. I'll be making one of these every single week leading up to the launch of Anthem and hopefully well beyond. I'm always looking for great artists and community members, so if you have any suggestions for people you want to see highlighted, be sure to let me know with some link to their work. I'd also appreciate any feedback you have on the format of these. I want to make these community focused and share all the great work everyone does for the community. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave me a like or dislike if you prefer. You can subscribe to support the channel and hit that little bell for notifications. But until next time, I've been Dantier, thanks for watching.